The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 159.
Wow, 159.
Yep. What are we doing today?
This is the value of patience.
Ah.
I think we can all learn something from this.
Unagi.
Yeah, this is definitely something I think we probably all battle at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I
Not
really
every day.
envy you.
Yeah, exactly. Come teach us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. But before we do that, then anything you want to share from last week?
Yes, last week. So one of the questions that we answered last week was from Laura, and she wrote to us. She said, "Hi, Samantha and Danny. Thanks for answering my question in the podcast last week. I wasn't sure in what direction I needed to go and was focusing on not knowing. And so I took your advice to just let go and meditate and thought what will be, will be. I then felt I should listen to Dolores Cannon, and my curiosity took me to search for Convoluted Universe. Listening to it, I thought, this is great, but this is not it, and had a flashback to the audio book homepage, and the suggestion of the book The Secret appeared in my mind. I didn't question it, and I watched the film and now listening to the audiobook, and wow, all the things I heard so far about the law of attraction make so much sense, and I feel that this is my next step. Thank you guys for all you do, and well done on the podcast award." Oh yeah, I forgot to we have to talk about that. "I feel very blessed and grateful that my path was led to both of you, as I would have felt alone and afraid not having your guidance during this new chapter in my life."
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
The
Very
Secret it's an amazing documentary, whether you watch it or read it or listen to it. It's all about the law of attraction, and it explains how it works. And the law of attraction really is unbelievably real. It really is.
It is.
Yep. Laura had mentioned the podcast award, and I think we did mention that we won that podcast. But one of the things that we've got this week was we got the love letters from all of our listeners that wrote in for us to win that award. And we just want to say,
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay. Whoa.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah. I was like choked up.
Yeah, I didn't share it to the podcast page yet, but I will. But wow, the things that were said, yes, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. We're glad to know that
People get something out of it.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Right.
We're just sharing and talking, and we love that it helps people and helps us too. So
Thank you so much.
yes, so thanks to everybody that wrote one of those love letters for us. And then also Panapat, she messaged, and actually she put this in the group. That's what it was. She put this in the group. It says, "I had a bad anxiety and breakdowns around mid-April during my birthday week, and one good friend told me, 'You're an empath.' I didn't know what the heck an empath was, but I remembered seeing some of your podcast episodes titled Empathy. I went ahead and listened to them. Man, I couldn't relate more. Thank you for making these podcasts. I just learned the word empath, and I just know I'm one of them. Thanks to this, I can become more aware of what happens inside of me, which already has helped me solve a couple issues by far."
Wow.
I don't think that a lot of people that are empaths realize that that's what it is, that you literally feel other people's feelings and emotions. And the more in tune that you are with that, the worse it can be, really. Yeah. It's like a gift and a curse all at the same time.
But I'm glad that you recognize something about yourself, Panapat. That's cool.
Yes, absolutely. That is very important. So thank you for sharing that with the group, Panapat, and now the rest of our listeners. Let's see. Oh, yeah, our questions. So every week we answer 2 questions. Betty really wants to be involved in this episode.
She's chit-chatting over there.
So if you hear the grumble in the background, that's Betty. Okay. This is from Sunshine. She said, "I'd like to hear something about walk-in souls. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like your body can have one soul for so many years, and then sometimes they decide they are finished, but the body isn't, so another takes it on. wouldn't people notice the change in personality? And would the new soul remember the past memories that the body went through previously? Or am I not grasping this concept? Can it be random or just traumatic events like the dog story that you told, I think, about Betty being lost in the desert but saved? At least I think that was the story. This is a great topic.
It's a deep topic.
It is.
It's a great topic.
Yeah, we need to do an episode on it, really, because honestly, we really don't know much about it ourselves.
Based on just what I've read, and through mainly Dolores, and that it can happen on many different type of circumstances.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a rule to it, as, per se, as it just depends on the situation, because I've heard a couple different examples through her books about it. Mm-hmm. So, but it's incredible. Yeah.
I can definitely see how it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see why it would work, because sometimes our soul just needs to learn certain lessons. It doesn't need to go through this whole thing again.
Right.
So I could see that, just imagine like being on the other side and you're like, I really need to learn about, death. Okay. Like, let's say that there's something you need to face with death or whatever. And this one soul is like, I got to go. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So then the other soul goes, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that because I need to learn that instead of living the whole life again. I could see it. Yeah.
But when they, because this can be, I think also, I'm not exactly sure if it's totally separate or the same, but there's like walk-ins and there's imprints.
Yeah, the imprints too, yeah.
So when that happens, that change occurs. That new soul that's entering is basically given the recap of this other soul's experience in his body. And so all their previous memories are erased. The current, or according to that body's memories, are put in place.
Yes.
And you really don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You can't tell.
There's no difference. People don't know.
Yeah.
The soul itself doesn't even know.
Right, until it goes to the other side.
Yeah.
Like if Betty did come into this body after that traumatic event, then she doesn't know. She has no clue. She'll find that out when she gets back there, or however that works.
Right.
There was she had said one other thing in here. Is it random or just traumatic events? We really don't know, but I could see it being at any point. Mm-hmm. Like maybe, somebody's contemplating suicide, and instead of going through the whole thing and having some kind of traumatic event, they just swap. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Yeah, I think
we'll do an episode
at
on
all costs, the universe does not want to see the body die.
Yeah.
When it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
It's still a precious life.
Yeah.
So it would rather see it go on, once the soul's there, meaning well after birth. It wants to see it live on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we will do, and I wrote it down, to do an episode on walk-ins and imprints.
Cool.
So that we can talk about the difference too.
Nice.
So yay, thank you for that question, Sunshine.
Very good, Sunshine. Thank you.
And then Shauna asked this. I thought this was a good question as well. I have a complicated question, and I hope I can make it make sense. If everyone that has gifts got together and focused on one thing, like a major issue, and tried to manifest that issue to go away, would it? I'll use an example. The current issue of Roe versus Wade. If everyone who had gifts and abilities got together and all focused on manifesting that it not get overturned, could it possibly not be overturned? I feel like those with gifts, when working together on something, would be able to manifest better things for humanity. I don't know if that makes sense. I also don't know what other examples to use besides Roe versus Wade. That's a good one because it's current,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it is something that, you could look at, could tables turn, but...
I absolutely believe it.
I think that it's... it only takes 1% of the sum whole to tilt it.
Yes.
It doesn't take 50%. It doesn't take 75%. It takes 1% to change it.
Yep.
So, not to say that it would only be 1%. It could be 5%.
Yeah.
But it literally only takes that 1% to start. And that goes for everything.
Yeah.
Everything, I think, is on a global scale. Could you imagine if 1% of the world stopped every Monday and meditated and prayed for some particular something, maybe world peace.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There's a good one.
Yep.
That's a current thing. It's always been a current thing because it's never friggin' happened.
That's true.
So if 1% of the world woke up every Monday and meditated and prayed on that, I think you see a change.
Yeah. I think another key to that is believing that you can make the change. I truly believe in things that I never believed in before, like rain dances. I believe you could probably do it by yourself, but you get a group of people together, and it's absolutely possible to do a rain dance and bring in some rain. We're all one. Okay, we're all connected. So when we get together like that and we focus on things, we're bringing more of us together. Does that make sense? Instead of trying to be separated, and we recognize that we are one, and we all kind of bring it along, everybody along.
Even and this is a different example, but similar to that, the Dr. Greer that does the things where he's he's telecommunicating with other life forms and bringing them into our atmosphere.
Yes.
But he's doing it with groups of people.
Yes, that's true.
And he's talking about how there's strength in numbers.
Yes.
The amount of energy that there is when he has a group of 10 people versus just himself.
Great example.
It's greater energy.
Yes.
So that's all it takes.
Yeah, if you don't know about Dr. Greer, you should look him up, because this is where they bring in aliens, UFOs. And you're right. The more people, the better. The more the energy, the more positive energy, people that believe that this could actually be done, the more likely it is to happen.
And he has incredible videos and photos from these sessions.
Yeah, he does. I would love to go on one of those.
I would too.
That would be awesome. So hope that answers your question a little bit, Shauna. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was a good one. And then before we start the episode, let's do a reading. This is a psychic reading for Brittany. I love psychic readings.
Cool.
Brittany says, I would like a spiritual gifts reading. Specifically, I want to know if I've realized my abilities yet and if I'm on the right path to fulfill my spiritual purpose. So when I was reading this, and I read the part of realized my abilities yet, I saw your spirit team. And I saw them like, they're not making fun because there's no ego. But it's like, oh my gosh, she doesn't even realize. She has no idea what she's capable of. It was like, no, you haven't realized yet because you are so powerful and you don't realize how powerful you are yet. You're learning. You're starting to acknowledge more and more that you have these abilities. And definitely, I think listening to the podcast has opened you up to different things that you never thought were possible. And so, yeah, you're opening them up. But there's things you're going to be able to do. One of them in particular is a healer, which is great because if I remember correctly, I believe Brittany works with animals, with horses, I think. Oh my gosh, to be able to heal horses, amazing. Wow. So yeah, so keep working on it because your spirit team is definitely saying that you don't even realize how possible that is yet. And I'll tell you that healing is absolutely possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing that you'll be working towards, I feel, if you haven't started already. You are absolutely on the right path. There's challenges that you're facing in your life. We all face them. Life is never without its challenges. But one of the things that happens on the spiritual journey is that we change the way that we deal with these types of things that happen to us. We start to see the bigger picture of things and why things happen to us and how maybe we're repeating something that we did before. So you're learning all of these things through some of the hardships that you're facing right now. You're learning how to look at things differently, how to sometimes see how you could be put into a situation that is really, really, really uncomfortable for you. But then a miracle happens and it becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm kind of feeling like that's what's going on right now is there's a lot of changes that are going on. But your spirit team is like, okay, she's awake. She's doing this. She's working in the right direction. So now we're going to push her in the direction she needs to go. So the things that are going on with you, the things that are happening are pushing you to go in the right direction, pushing you to be more of this healer. Gosh, I could definitely see like you doing Reiki work and hands-on healing with these animals, not just horses, but other animals as well. And that is really, really needed because, you know, you can do that. Like I do all that over the phone and stuff like that. But to be in person and to actually be able to put your hands on the animal that's having a problem and fix it is just amazing, you know? So I think that over time, that's what's going to happen for you. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah, for real. So, congratulations, Brittany. Your spirit team is
Thanks,
large, and they're quite comical, and they've got your back for sure. So just keep going. Just keep swimming, like Dory says.
Yep.
So that's all I have, except let's share our pages before we go.
I was reading my mind.
I wrote it down when we started the episode. Yeah. Okay, so if you would like to book a session with me or learn more about my readings, you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. To reach us at the show, we are spiritualjoneses@gmail.com. And on social media, you can find us at spiritualjoneses. And for you, sir?
Very good. Thank you. For my art, djonesartcollection.com. For the web, at djonesartcollection. For Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And just a quick reminder, the fundraiser for the people of the Ukraine, it's called Shelter, which is happening in Camarillo. It's at Studio Channel Islands, 2222 Ventura Boulevard, if you're around. Today is the last day.
Yeah, this won't even go out till tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, never mind.
But you can, you know what? They may have more pieces that they'll sell online. So if you're interested in looking at what's available, you can still go
this is true.
On and look at
thank
it.
You.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But anyways, good cause. Give it a look if you want online, like you said. And
yeah.
We went by there yesterday, and it was cute. It was really neat.
Yeah.
They did a real nice job. The room that it was in, because it's in a big area, a big studio sectioned off and different rooms, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Had a lot of neat stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I got.
Very good.
For that.
Fantastic.
Right. Well then, episode 159, The Value of Patience.
Value of patience. So first of all, simply what is patience? Well, it's the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. This can apply to so many areas of our lives. It's like anything. Think about it. You know, your daily life, patience with other people, patience with your job, patience with driving, patience with being in line at the grocery store. It can just be so many different areas. And some of it, like, I feel like for myself, I'm really good at patience in some areas, but others, it's like, nope, I definitely need to work on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I asked our listeners if patience is something that they struggle with. And 56% said a little bit. And 32% said yes. I found interesting that 12% said no. And I would love to meet somebody that doesn't have any issue with patience because I want to learn from you.
Right.
Like, I'm learning from the other side every day.
This, like, goes back as far as I could remember, like, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And feeling like Christmas Day was not going to come soon enough.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to explode if I don't get to open those presents. That, you know what I mean? That level of, like, gotta have it now kind of mentality that some of us carry.
Yep. So what I did for this episode is I asked our listeners questions like I always do, but I also just jotted down, like I went through articles and I read them and I jotted down some things that stood out to me. One of the ones that really captured me is that impatience comes from the mind and patience comes from the heart. And I think I go a lot of times to traffic, okay, because this is something that I've worked on a lot on because I used to drive all day for my job. And I would be very impatient. Like, I just want to get to my next job, get this done, go home, you know. And I've learned over the years now that, first of all, the universe is lining us up when there's something going on, you know, like say we get stuck in traffic. They're lining us up for whatever is supposed to come for the rest of the day. But one thing that I've noticed is I feel different when I don't get upset about those things. Like if somebody cuts me off in traffic or they're being stupid and I just ignore it and go on with my day, I feel so much better. So it's right. Patience comes from the heart, you know, you can feel it.
Yeah, you're feeling how you should feel as opposed to letting something interfere with the way you should feel.
Yeah. And, when we get, like, triggered, sometimes that sticks with us the rest of the day. So in this example, again, like, let's say that you're cut off and you get really mad about it, right? And then you go into the next place that you're going to and you take it out on the cashier. And then, so you've given your bad energy to that cashier, and then they're going to give it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Or you can just say, is it really worth it? Is it really worth ruining not just my day, but everybody else's over it too? Mm-hmm. And just stop it right there, you know? It's all mind over matter.
Yeah, because even something as simple as that is in the world. And think about how many times that could happen in a day in the world. What kind of crap karma is just being thrown out? Mm-hmm. For what reason?
Yep.
Once it's created, it has to be undone.
That's right. Yeah. So
until we realize that as a society and a planet and a species, that we're creating this, we can stop at any moment.
Yeah, absolutely we can. Patience has a lot to do with our perception of time. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is probably one of the biggest reasons.
And time in itself is perception.
Absolutely, it is. And it's not just about hours in the day. It's about hours left in our life. Mm-hmm. That's probably a bigger one.
That's, for me, the biggest. I think more about the long term than I do the day.
Yeah.
Like, got to get this done before I die.
Right.
Kind of thing.
I think a lot of people think like that, you know? It's like, I'm trying to find patience in certain things that, you want to do something like you see somebody in concert, your favorite artist in concert, and maybe the date doesn't align and it's just not going to work. And it's like, oh, but I really want to go, and you get all upset, and it's like, but you know what? I'll be able to see them again. Or even if I can't, it's not worth getting yourself upset over. And so, like, for me, I'm learning the patience of, okay, I don't have to do everything right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm 45, I have time left. I can spread it out. You have to think positively and not, on one case, it's like, yes, live like today's your last day so that you enjoy it, so that you do the things that you want to do. But on the other hand, we don't want to be stuck in this, oh my gosh, I have to get everything done because I could die tomorrow type of feeling either. There's like a happy medium there, Yeah. Yeah.
I catch myself sometimes, thinking that, like, when I'm painting a piece, because it take me maybe, I don't know, a few weeks to a month or something. And I'll think, what if I die? What if I die tomorrow?
Oh my gosh. You're so funny.
Oh my God. Nobody's going to finish that.
Who's going to finish it? Yeah. It's funny.
But when it's like a solitary thing like that, it's different. I think I've had to practice this a lot more being a musician.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Because let's face it, musicians are incredible people, but we can be flaky, not real prompt, not maybe always focused. So in the process of the band that I've been playing with for the last 8 years, we've had an immense amount of, for any band I've ever been in, the most personnel changes I've ever seen, but for the better. And that's kept my patience going because I see the improvement each time something changes, instead of being scared of like, oh, great, another change, here it comes.
Right.
What's this going to mean? I just sit back and sort of observe it the best I can without getting, trying to get too involved in what's happening.
Right.
And then I see the improvement, and it enables me to be a little bit more patient. But it's like...
It's a struggle.
It is.
Yeah.
And I look at these like recording sessions that we're doing weekly, and if it's different with that than it is the art, thinking long term, like, can I get all these paintings done that I dream of doing in the time before I pass, instead of how many hours in the day, as where with the recording and this aspect of my life, I think more in terms of all I have to do is take it day by day, session by session, and eventually I'll be able to add up all those sessions and it'll be done.
Right, exactly.
So I try to look at it from that way. Like when I'm feeling like I want to get negative about it, I'll go, no, because there's progress. Every week, it's maybe only something small, but it's adding to the plate and it's getting full. And that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And that makes me think of another point, is that a lot of people don't accomplish their dreams and goals because of their lack of patience. Mm-hmm. Because they get to a point where they're like, this isn't going anywhere.
They give up.
Right, exactly. But it's really at those moments where you feel like giving up that the universe is pushing you the most. It's testing your patience the most. How bad do you really want this? Yeah. Are you willing to be patient and just see where this goes and write it out and not have to, make everything go exactly the way you want it to?
Yeah.
They're teaching us with these things.
I kind of think that maybe there's a greater meaning to us learning patience, and we were talking about this earlier today. Besides just this life or movie or simulation or whatever you want to call your experience that you're living, maybe it isn't just about this side.
Right.
I started thinking about that in my mind and going, well, think about it. I'm an energy that will never die. This body's going to die, and I'm going to go back, and then I'll come back to another body.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of bodies. Okay, people are making bodies every day.
Yeah, that's true.
There's babies being born every day. So there's no shortage and there's no hurry there. And I started to think about that. And I was like, so when I go back, I'm living in eternity as my true self, my true energy, my true soul. And that's forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in my evolution as a soul and coming into these lives to learn the lessons I need to learn to become closer to God or the source, that's going to take some time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to take some patience. And then you brought up something a couple weeks ago about just sort of pondering what it must be like for spirit guides, that when they're working with the humans that they're assigned to or their loved ones, how maybe frustrating that would seem from our point of view.
Yeah.
And thinking, wow, they're having to practice like super patience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something about my mom is that like when I'm being really impatient or even if I'm having like a temper tantrum, especially, like she doesn't change. She just stands there and is very patient and says, when you're done, so I know that her level of patience is just unbelievable.
Yes.
They get it. They understand. They don't have this sense of rush and urgency. And I think that's something that comes with eternity too, is that there's no rush. Yeah. When there's eternity, there's no rush.
Right.
That's really human nature right there, is that we want things like right now. Now. We want them to change for the better right this second, but a lot of times we don't want to do the work that it takes to get to what makes it better.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's, I try to look at it sometimes like the manifestation aspect where I just plant the seed and give a little water and put it in the sun and walk away.
Yes.
I try not to focus on it because that's not going to help my level of impatience.
Right.
And I tend to see greater progress when you step away and come back.
Yep.
Then you see greater progress. As like we were talking before last week, I think, or whatever, about watching the grass grow. You're typically not going to see a lot of change.
No.
Because it's happening so slow right in front of you.
Yes.
As opposed to leaving, coming back, and then, whoa.
Yes.
Look at that.
Exactly.
So it's that's kind of what I try to practice with it is just to sort of put it down.
Yeah.
And not focus on it.
Yeah.
And that helps with the patience. Another example for us is that we reserved for a Ford Bronco.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago, in 2020.
If nothing teaches you patience, this will.
Yeah. And this has been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'll go through periods where I kind of forget.
Yeah.
That's even going on.
That's the best.
And then I get emails and I get all excited. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's coming. And then I start feeling like, when is it coming?
I'm never going to get it.
So then I have to go away from it again.
Yeah.
And that seems to work best for me.
there's like this weird like phenomenon that happens, and I can't be the only one that this happens to, but like for example, at Disneyland they have the what do they call that? Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land, right? Yeah. I remember when they announced that they were going to be doing that, and it was like 4 years out of being built, and I was like, 4 years? I can't wait 4 years.
I know.
You know, and then all of a sudden it's built and it's been there forever, and I've only seen it once.
I know.
It's like,
I remember you
so
telling
patient.
me when they were going to start building it.
Yeah. But it's so
okay,
funny.
I'll go then.
Yeah.
It's been there for years and I still haven't gone.
But it's just funny because we get that moment of like, no, build it now, right now.
I know.
I want you to do it right this second. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's just a really weird feeling.
You're a Disney fanatic, though.
Well, that's with anything, though. I mean, really, like, I thought about that because it happened to us last night. Oh, because they're putting a new restaurant here in town where Mimi's used to be. And I was like, build it now. And then, because they haven't even started yet. And I was like,
is it going to be a restaurant?
Yeah, a drive-through healthy restaurant.
Oh.
Right. So I'm kind of looking forward to it because you don't have many of that, you know? So in my mind, I was like, build it now. And then I was thinking about just like that, how a couple of years from now it's going to be there and I probably won't even go there. But right now I'm like, hurry up and build it. It's weird.
That's hilarious.
Patience is very strange. Very strange. So let's talk a little bit about our listeners and what they had to say about all of this.
Yay.
So I asked, what are the hardest things for you to have patience about? And this is what Jennifer said. She said, I have a hard time being patient when the other person unknowingly is triggering something in me, like a past trauma, an unresolved issue, etc. Adult-children relationships can be challenging, and I do okay most of the time, but occasionally my own boundaries get crossed, and I get upset, especially angry in the moment. Then I feel bad. I totally get it. The triggering is hard because, you know, like, let's say that you have some kind of, like, abandonment issue, okay? And you know, somebody just stops texting you, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, my God, they're not talking to me anymore because they're not texting me, and you're getting impatient in your mind. But that person's actually working or something, you know, and they just can't get back to you right now. But your own trauma has built up this, you know, something in your mind that says this person wants nothing to do with me anymore when really they're just working or busy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so we have to...
We can race real quick.
Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah. We have to control that ourselves, control those triggers, and it's hard because those triggers come from somewhere, you know, and that's where, like, shadow work comes in. Is like, okay, well, why am I like this?
Right.
And how can I change it, you know, so that I don't have this problem anymore?
Yeah.
I used to have that problem. I don't anymore. Honestly, sometimes I forget when people don't text me back. It's actually quite freeing.
I've definitely had issues with it, but I had, you know, like abandonment issues young. So,
yeah.
I definitely had issues with it, but it's gotten better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then with that question, what are the hardest things for you to be patient about? Melissa said, I have a toddler. Enough said. Yeah.
I was going to say Friday.
Friday.
Who am I kidding? I
Yeah.
don't have to punch a clock.
Yeah. But, yeah, kids, oh my gosh. That'll test your patience.
I totally relate.
For sure. Even dogs. These dogs test my patience sometimes, you know? And that's, you know, another thing. It's like, why rush with certain things? It's like you take the dog outside and they're sniffing. You know, it drives me kind of crazy when people are walking their dog and the dog's sniffing and they're like, come on, let's go. Yeah. What are you in a rush for? Let your dog sniff. Isn't that what they're out for? You know, let them enjoy the walk. Why does it have to be, oh, I can't stop and enjoy that?
Yeah.
Stop and smell the flowers. Right?
Yeah, I've never felt like, even with having a child, that, oh, I can't wait, you know, till they're 18 and like gone and on their own.
Yeah.
I just...
Yeah.
Why rush it?
Yeah, totally.
It's funny when it's somebody else's situation, you're fully willing to be patient. But when it's not, you know, it's just weird. It's like I want to enjoy it. I want just to experience it as long as I can.
Yeah.
Before, you know, it's not around me every day.
Yep.
Meaning her, the child.
Yeah, totally. And then Shauna said, I'm not very patient when it comes to parts of my spiritual journey. I noticed I would kind of push things aside and try and jump forward instead of focusing on things that I need to do in order to progress. And you know what? I had this exact same problem. The spiritual journey can be very impatient. And like, if you're developing your abilities, for me, it was like, I wanted all of the abilities. And you know what? Even at 4 years, I don't have all the abilities. I'm still very much learning. And I'm trying to be patient, and I think I've gotten much more patient because I do realize that time really is what you need to learn about this stuff. And going in whatever order the universe throws things at you, because I really don't know what I'm going to get next. I just all of a sudden will be like, here's something else that opens for you, you know, and it's cool. It all takes time. And I think one of the things that I do to help myself when I get impatient about my spiritual journey and my abilities is I think about how far I've come in 4 years. And then I think, imagine how far you're going to be in another 4 years.
Yeah.
And another 4 years after that.
Or what the practicing of patience has done for you.
Oh my gosh, it's done so much.
Not to say that you were patient the whole time.
Yeah.
But you didn't give up.
No.
Didn't quit.
Yep.
You know, you didn't change course.
Yep.
You've seen it through, and now you see the difference.
And that's what the universe wants from us. Mm-hmm. Like, before they move us along to the next part of the spiritual journey, they want to know that we've gotten this part down.
I was saying this to you earlier, too, that it feels like a lot of us, and I can't say, because obviously, based on our polls, there's some people that don't have as much of an issue with this topic. And then there's some of us, like me, that do.
At least you can admit it.
And I think society, the way that a lot of us are sort of, trained, and I think that money probably has a lot to do with that. Yeah. Because, everything's by the hour, and, dollars per hour, and what's getting done within the hour.
Totally.
And so there becomes this level of impatience that can be coupled with probably greed and things too. But we're so focused on the finish line, not realizing that there's a reason why there is a process.
Right.
To go from A to B isn't just stepping one step.
Yeah.
There's a process. There's something to be learned.
Yeah.
And in order for us to absorb it all and to learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn from that situation, we have to be patient. Which means we got to slow down.
Slow down.
And be patient, because there's going to be things shown to you.
Yep.
And taught to you through this process. If you're only focused on the finish line, think about maybe the people you're plowing over to get to that point.
Yep.
Maybe the level of insincerity or, incompassion that you're showing, in the process of that.
Right.
The finish line is not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
It's there. You just have to get there.
Yep.
But you also have to learn the things that you need to learn, because think about maybe how many people reach their goals in one life or another in something and realize they didn't enjoy it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They just fought so hard to get to that point, and then they're at that point, and they're miserable.
That's right. Yep, it happens.
So if we taught everybody to enjoy the process, it's the journey, and don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way.
Oh,
you know, and if you make them, acknowledge them, apologize, whatever it is you have to do. Yep. That's not ego-based, and then keep moving forward.
Yep. Slowing down is right now the big lesson that the universe is working with me on. And this is really hard. And I didn't really associate this so much with patience, but it absolutely is. And it's like like I said before, we're always in a rush for everything. But what are we in a rush for? A lot of times we're in a rush for nothing.
Right.
To go on to the next task.
Right.
Well, but why?
Right.
I'll tell you a little embarrassing story, because the universe needs to teach me to slow down. And so sometimes it does things to make me feel stupid to show me to slow down. So I started taking this class, okay? And the instructor sent me directions of where to go for the class. And I put in the address to GPS, right? but I didn't read underneath what was clearly in red, bold letters to go to the right side of the house, not to the front door. Okay. So I go to the front door and I text her and I tell her that I'm there, and she says, okay, I'll be out in a second. And then she texts me and she says, where are you? I'm here and you're not here. And I was like, I'm at the front door. And she's like, oh, didn't you get the email? And I was like, oh my gosh, you did it again. You didn't slow down and read. So I go and I read the email and it's like, come to the right side, right? Okay, so I go to the right side, and guess what happens? I fall on my face. Literally fall on my face. Before my first class, I bang up my knee, my foot, my hand. I'm bleeding. It's just awful. Oh, no. Just absolutely awful. But you know what? If I would have stopped and I would have read that email, wouldn't have happened.
You learned something.
I learned something. Slow down. And they've been telling me this has been a challenge. This has probably been their biggest challenge with me, is the slow down, because it applies to everything in my life. Slow down and read that. Slow down everything. So yeah, I see how it could be.
Yeah, you came home looking like you went 12 rounds with Tyson. I was like, what happened?
Horrible.
What class are you taking? Self-defense? Didn't go so well.
Oh man, it was horrible and so embarrassing. But you know what? It was my own fault. And when I fell, honestly, my first thought was, am I not supposed to take this class? Am I not supposed to be here right now? Is that why I fell? And I almost got in the car and came home. But I thought, no, I'm not. I'm going to dust myself off.
I'm proud of you for just sucking it up. And
it meant more to me than that. I was like, I'm not going to leave there. No. So, but it wasn't about that. See, I had to change my perception on that, where maybe years ago I would have been like, oh, that was a sign for me to go home. No, I just had to kind of let it see what it was. It was just that I needed to slow down. I need to read things, closer. Lessons. And like one thing I wrote down, and I love this, and this applies here, is the universe has a wonderful sense of humor. And since most of us haven't gotten the point about patience, we are given plenty of opportunities to work on it.
That's true.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Since the fall, I slowed down.
Yeah.
I slowed down. Yeah.
Yeah. I notice for me that impatience when I get like feisty.
Yeah.
Immediately the universe does something, I stub my toe, I do this or I do that. It's like telling me, you want some of this? Okay. You think you can play games here? You got some power? All right. We'll show you. We got the power.
It's true though.
Yeah. And they lay it on me. So I just try not to even go there now.
Yep.
If I express a little impatience, I express it and then I move on.
Yep. Yep.
Because when I start going too deep, then somebody spills a pitcher of beer on my lap or something.
Yeah, this actually happened to us the other night, that we went out to dinner, and as we were pulling into the driveway, I said, I wonder what kind of horrible service we're going to have tonight. Intuitive thought, oh yeah, we did get it. We got the worst service. This is a regular restaurant we go to. We've never had this bad of service before. And it was just, we're both sitting there and I'm like, patience.
Yeah.
And that's our topic for the week. Patience.
And the listeners are like, why do you go to a place that you're
the
always getting poor service?
Because it's delicious.
It's good.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, you just know, okay, I'm just going to chill. And then when we left there, we went to the post office, and on the way to the post office, it was like one thing after another with slowing down. And I was like, okay, the universe is trying to slow us down for a reason. It's trying to, test our patience or align us with something. And I'm like, I just have to surrender. Yeah. And every time that I feel myself, because I'm still human, every time I feel myself starting to get annoyed again, I remind myself, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting yourself all uptight over,
Before we started this, I had to run to the store really quick. And I'm running through my mind, like, all the things I have to do today, because we have a show tonight, a concert we're going to. And so I'm like, okay, I do this. And I feel like I'm racing in my head. And I'm coming back down the street, coming back home, and that house that they're totally redoing.
Oh, yeah.
That they took the face off of.
Yeah.
This guy is backing up his motorcycle trailer into the driveway, which consisted of about, I don't know, 20 takes.
Oh, no. He just didn't know what he was doing.
Cars were backing up,
Oh, gosh.
And at first I was like, I wonder how long this is going to take. And then I let it go.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there and whatever. listening to music, and
that's right. Just put the music on.
It's acting like it was just a part of my day, and didn't let it get to me.
Yep, exactly. And that's what the universe wants us to do, and that's what they're trying to teach us to do. And when they put these things in front of us, like, people get mad, like, but I have all these challenges in front of me.
Right.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I totally clearly heard, Danny, don't start bitching when you're about to go talk about this.
Exactly. Why don't you have some patience,
yeah.
you know?
So I was like, good point. Thank you.
Yep.
Put me in my place.
Yep. Something else that I read that goes with this is that make the most of the time spent stuck in line, in traffic, waiting for an appointment. Mm-hmm. While waiting, focus on being grateful for having that moment, mm-hmm. for being alive, for whatever it is that you're going to do later in the day. And another thing that you could do is pray for the people that don't have peace and are impatient. You know, the guy that you see in the car in front of you going, come on, move. Yeah. Pray for that guy, you know, send him some good healing thoughts of chill out, dude.
It's the cool. Beamer that's zigzagging through the 101 freeway at, traffic hour at 80 miles an hour. I usually go, man, I hope that guy makes it home safe.
Yeah, for real.
Because he's really impatient.
For real. And that's a really good one to bring up. And I had written this down too, is being impatient is very egocentric. For example, mm-hmm. when you're speeding and weaving in and out of traffic so that you can get somewhere faster, that's like saying that your time is more important than somebody else's. Mm-hmm. And even that your life might be more important than somebody else's, because you're putting other people's lives at risk by driving like that.
Yep.
You know?
And 9 times out of 10, we end up passing the knucklehead that zoomed by us 90 miles an hour.
I love that.
There's a reason the traffic's not going real fast, bud. And you just found it. And here we are going right by him.
My ego wants to look at those people. Then you pull up at the light next to them. I want to look at them and go, see, we're here at the same time. But instead, I just sit there in my head and I think, look at you. Look at you, Speed Racer. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I asked our listeners one more question, and that was, why is having patience so hard? Panapat said, because I want to see the results instantly. I am so used to instant gratification. Mm-hmm. This is a society of instant gratification.
Yeah, it's like individualism and instant gratification.
Yep, exactly.
It's like I want what I want when I want it.
Exactly.
With no consideration of what does this or how does this affect anybody else in my life with this.
Right.
Or not even in my life, period.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I feel like it's an egocentric thing.
It is. Very, very. Lori said, because we have been trained by our culture to expect things ASAP. Everything we do is about speed and convenience. Mm-hmm. Even when we get it fast, we want it faster. How true is that? I mean, really, think about it. Like, we go to fast food, and is it ever really fast enough? Unless they're hanging the bag out the window, is it ever really fast food?
Right.
You know, you sit in that In-N-Out drive-through for 5 hours because it's so long, you know? But
it's so delicious.
It's so delicious. But we're sitting there going, I want it. I want it. Give it to me now. Where's my food? You know, well, you're still going to get it faster than you would if you were sitting down at a regular restaurant, but it's still not fast enough for you.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great example too, Lori. Ed said it may have a lot to do with our own need to control everything. And I loved that. Mm. And that's a whole different topic, is the need to control. We want to be where we want to be when we want to be there. You know, we want to do this at this time. And you know, like what you were saying, the need to kind of control what's going to happen in the day and all of that. And we have to surrender and realize that the universe really does line us up for where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. And it will get in our way to push us, you know, to where we're supposed to go or stop from things from happening. So like when we're pushing to like drive faster and get somewhere faster, we could be like avoiding something catastrophic by slowing down.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things. Anything can happen, really. It can be really small things, but the universe is always trying to help us.
Yeah.
Always. So when you're stuck in those kinds of situations, instead of needing to have the control, try and surrender the control to the universe.
When we come into this body after birth and we're living this life, again, we're forgetting who we work for.
That's right.
In a sense, where we come from and who we work for. So what Ed said is like on the money. It's about me.
Right.
It's not about a collective.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We're not taught enough about the collective, the energy, the strength that we have when we work together. It's always about me.
Me. Yep.
George Harrison wrote a song, I think it's on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, called I, Me, Mine. Mm-hmm. And I love that song.
Yeah.
It just pretty much wraps up the whole egocentric mindset that most of us walk around in at some point in life.
Yep. One of the goals, I think, of a lot of our spiritual journeys, because really in order to reach some form of enlightenment, we have to release the ego. So a lot of us, like for me, that's one of my goals, is to release the ego.
Yes.
And so anytime that I find myself in one of these situations, I have to stop and I have to remind myself, this isn't what you want for your life. You don't want to be impatient. You don't want to think about just yourself. You want to think about other people. Like the guy that wants to get over in traffic, instead of me speeding up so that he can't, I'll slow down and let him get in front of me. What am I rushing for? Do you know what I mean? Like, help the person out so that they can get over. Maybe they plan bad. I mean, there's a lot of bad drivers out there, but I try and help people like that with anything, just because why be that one more impatient person that they have to come in contact with, you know? And so the more that we can take our ego out of all of these things and understand that it's not just about us, it really does help for the collective to get it too. Mm-hmm. You're kind to somebody, they're kind to somebody else. Yep. That person that I let in front of me in traffic, I hope that he'll do the same thing for somebody else now that I've, given him a little bit of a warm, gushy feeling that I let him go.
Right.
Yeah.
We learn this. We're not, we don't jump in this body after birth and know this, how to be, impatient and mean and not understanding, and we learn this. Yep.
Patience also keeps us present in the moment.
Yeah.
Because if we're impatient for what's coming next, we can't enjoy what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fits together.
I've heard that one day in tomorrow and one day in yesterday, and you're pissing all over today.
That's perfect. That's exactly right. The universe wants us to live in today. And the more that we can focus on that, the more that they're going to help us and the better we're going to feel. Yeah. Really.
And, because the truth is you don't know.
No.
Most of us don't know when it's the end.
No. Yeah.
And if we're zipping through this life being impatient, and that's a kind of an oxymoron when you think about it, because I don't know too many people that really want to get to the end.
No.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
I really don't. Most people I know are trying to live this life out, and they're in no hurry to leave their friends and their loved ones and their family. But we spend every day in between in a goddamn hurry.
Yep.
And impatient.
Yep.
We're just trying to zip through this life. And before you know it, that's why you see, I think, or we hear and see so many kind of testimonies about people being on their deathbed and feeling like, I had kind of regrets about this and that and
wish
this.
I would have done this,
And I want to try to be there at that point with, if I make it to that point, with that, the least amount of that on my shoulders or my conscience.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Yep, I agree. So there we have it. I mean, that we could go on and on and talk about patience, but I think we're out of time.
It was good though.
Yeah, it's something I think we all really could work on. I don't know that I've ever met anybody that's totally patient in every area of their life. I wish that I could say I was one of them. I have the areas where I'm more patient, and then I have the areas I really need to work on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a hard time just saying, I have areas I need to work on. It takes that step. It takes recognizing the fact that you go, you know what? Maybe I'm not such a patient person. Maybe I should change these things about myself. Right. Maybe I'd be happier if I was more patient. Right. You have to say those things to yourself before you can change it. Because otherwise you're still in denial about the fact of, do you really have a problem?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's each one of ours journey to figure it out. But I feel like that's what, we come from perfection and it all being great. Yes. So it's supposed to be challenging here. It is.
Yeah. And it really is. That's a very good point. And it really is about the journey more than the destination.
It really is. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
The goal is important. You know, because being stagnant doesn't do anything for anybody. But you're right. The journey is, it's where the experience is.
Yep.
And that kind of, destination is kind of your motivational focus.
My senior high, or my senior year in the yearbook where you have your picture, my quote was from my favorite band, Aerosmith, "Life's a journey, not a destination." And I've always lived that.
Yeah.
Always tried to live that.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's good.
Yep.
Very good.
So,
cool.
yay.
Well.
So go out and have some patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye, would you like to share your information one more time?
Yes, you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com or us at SpiritualJoneses.com, and the email is SpiritualJoneses@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And you?
For my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm working on a new one, getting close, but got a little bit to go. It's cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool one.
And it's this kind of a request from one of Samantha's friends who happens to love this artist, so I'm hoping they'll love it.
Yeah, sure.
But one thing I did want to share real quick is that something that dawned on me this week, and I told you, and we both kind of looked at each other like, whoa. My friend Michael Fernandez that you've heard about, that passed away, his service was scheduled for today, his memorial service via Zoom.
Yeah.
And we had a concert that we had bought tickets for a few weeks ago or a month ago or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That happens to be on the same day. And this concert is the only concert that I ever went to with Michael to see live.
Yep.
And when that hit me, it was like a holy whoa, like epiphany.
Yeah.
Of just his presence.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't by mistake. They did have to, unfortunately, reschedule it because his remains have not been delivered to the family yet. It's still in transit.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to have the service without it. And I know I said this to you because I was like, I felt like there was something meant for that. And I think you really cleared it for me. It was like, yeah, it was. And that's out of his control.
Yeah.
This is simply to ease the family's hearts, I think, minds.
Yeah.
But that it was the same day.
It was the same day.
And I even said it to my dad, and he just looked at me like, whoa, his mouth dropped open like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, and it was an artist that, we both loved. I think I actually turned him on to him. It's Ray Lamontagne that we're going to see. So we saw him many years ago together at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
And so this would have been the same day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a neat.
Yeah, it is.
Little tidbit I wanted to share. And I will share, if you're friends with me, anybody that listens that knows him or knew him, I will share the link. But it is going to be the 14th, May 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I will share the link for that Zoom if you're interested.
Great.
On my Facebook.
Awesome.
So, and that's all I got.
Yay.
Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
That we do.
I did.
Me too.
It's always good to talk about it because it reminds us.
It does.
And we need reminders.
That's right. It puts it out there.
Yes.
Yep.
So we hope everybody has a great week.
That we do.
And until next week, peace and love.